a spark of service. In the summer of 2025, a quiet resolve took hold of Elon Musk, the relentless innovator whose companies had reshaped industries and reached for the stars. Years earlier, a profound conversation with Pope Francis during a visit to the Vatican had left an indelible mark. The pontiff's question, "Who do you truly serve?" echoing in his mind long after their meeting. That question, paired with a journey to Pope Francis's funeral alongside Donald Trump, had deepened Musk's introspection, urging him to look beyond technology and ambition to the human lives his work could touch. Now, stirred by memories of his childhood in South Africa and a desire to give back, Musk decided to return to his birthplace, not as a billionaire or a visionary, but as a man seeking to serve. He chose to bring his young son, X, whose boundless curiosity and knack for asking piercing questions reminded Musk of the little girl who had once challenged Trump with questions about life and death. X, with his sketchbook always in hand, was thrilled at the prospect of the trip, his eyes alight with wonder at the idea of seeing the land where his father had grown up. "Are we going to help people, Dad?" X asked, as they boarded Musk's private jet on a warm July morning. Musk, ruffling his son's hair, nodded. "That's the plan, X. We're going to try to make things better for folks who need it most." The destination was Pretoria, Musk's hometown, but the mission extended to the impoverished townships and rural areas surrounding it, where poverty clung stubbornly to communities despite South Africa's progress. Musk had been quietly funding small-scale projects in the region through his foundation, but this trip was different. Inspired by Francis's call to serve the unseen, he wanted to see the challenges firsthand, to listen to the people, and to act in ways that would endure. With X by his side, he hoped to instill in his son the same sense of purpose that was reshaping his own perspective. The jet landed in Johannesburg under a blazing sun, and Musk and X were met by a small team from the Musk Foundation led by Thandiwe, a local community organizer with deep ties to the townships. She greeted them warmly, but with a no-nonsense air, her eyes sharp with determination. "Mr. Musk, we're grateful you're here," she said, shaking his hand. "But the people want more than money, they want to be heard." Musk nodded, his usual intensity softened by humility. "That's why we came, Thandi. Show us what they need, and let's make it happen." Their first stop was Diepsloot, a sprawling township north of Johannesburg, where shacks of corrugated iron stood alongside makeshift schools and clinics. The air buzzed with the sounds of children playing and vendors calling out, but beneath the vibrancy lay stark realities: unreliable electricity, scarce clean water, and limited access to education. X, clutching his sketchbook, stared wide-eyed at the scene, his questions tumbling out. "Why don't they have lights like we do? Why is the water dirty?" Musk knelt beside him, his voice gentle but honest. "Some people don't have what we take for granted, X. That's what we're here to fix, step by step." Thandiwe led them to a community center, a modest building where dozens of residents, mothers, teachers, young entrepreneurs gathered. The room felt quiet as Musk entered, his presence a mix of curiosity and skepticism among the crowd. He stood before them, X at his side, and spoke without his usual flair. "I grew up not far from here," he began, his South African accent faintly resurfacing. "I know what it's like to dream big in a place that can feel small. Pope Francis once asked me who I serve, and I'm here to listen to you, to your needs, to your dreams. Tell me what you need, and we'll work together to make it real." The hesitated, then opened like a floodgate. A mother spoke of her children studying by candlelight, unable to afford solar panels. A teacher described overcrowded classrooms with no computers or books. A young man, Sifo, shared his dream of starting a tech repair shop but lacked the tools and training. Musk listened intently, jotting notes, his usual restlessness replaced by focus. X, sitting cross-legged on the floor, sketched the faces around him, his pencil capturing the hope and frustration in their eyes. One voice stood out. Namvula, an elderly woman with a commanding presence, who rose to speak. "Mr. Musk, we don't just want your money," she said, her voice steady. "We want dignity. We want our children to have a future, not just survive. Can you give us that?" Musk met her gaze, the weight of her words echoing Francis's question. "I can't promise everything," he said, "but I promise to try for you, for your kids, for this community." Over the next days, Musk and X immersed themselves in deep sleep and nearby areas, visiting schools, clinics, and homes. Musk rolled up his sleeves, helping install Starlink dishes to bring free internet to a community center, while X handed out tools to volunteers, his small hands eager to contribute. At a rural school, Musk sat with students, answering their questions about space and technology, his enthusiasm infectious. X, inspired, drew a picture of a rocket soaring over a township, which he shyly gave to a girl who dreamed of becoming an astronaut. "Keep dreaming," he told her, echoing his father's words. The turning point came during a meeting with local leaders, where Musk proposed a bold initiative, the D-Sloot Spark Project. Drawing on his company's resources, he committed $500 million over 5 years to address the township's core need: solar power for every home, clean water systems, tech training programs, and scholarships for youth. But more than funding, he emphasized partnership. "This isn't my project," he told the crowd. "It's yours. Thandiwe, Sifo, Namvula, you'll lead it. I'm just here to help you build." The room erupted in applause, not just for the promise, but for the respect in his words. Namvula, the elder who had challenged him, approached after the announcement. "You listened," she said, her eyes soft with gratitude. "That's more than most do." Musk smiled, humble. "Francis taught me that listening is where it starts. You're teaching me the rest." X, standing nearby, tugged at Namvula's sleeve, offering her a drawing of a solar panel glowing like a sun. "For your house," he said. Namvula laughed, pulling him into a hug. "You're a good boy, X. You and your father are bringing light." The project moved swiftly. By August 2025, Starlink had connected 10 homes to high-speed internet, transforming access to education and jobs. Solar panels, manufactured by Tesla, powered schools and clinics, reducing reliance on costly generators. Sifo's tech repair shop opened, stocked with tools from SpaceX workshops, and he began training others, creating a ripple of opportunity. A clean water system, designed by Musk's engineers, reached 50 residents, cutting disease rates and freeing women from hours of fetching water. Scholarships sent dozens of students, including the aspiring astronaut girl, to top schools, their futures brighter than their parents had dared hope. Musk and X returned Deep Sloot monthly, tracking progress and listening to feedback. During one visit, Thandiwe showed them a new community garden, its crops thriving thanks to irrigation from the water system. "This is what dignity looks like," she said. gesturing to families harvesting vegetables. X, now a familiar face, ran to join children planting seeds, his sketchbook filled with drawings of their smiling faces. Musk watched, a quiet pride in his eyes. "This is what Francis meant," he murmured to Thandi, "serving the people who don't get seen." The Spark Project's impact spread beyond Deep Sloot. By 2026, Musk expanded it to other townships, Soweto, Khayelitsha, reaching over 1 million people with sustainable solutions. Global media took notice, but Musk deflected praise, crediting local leaders like Namvala and Sifo. "They're the real innovators," he told a reporter. "I'm just amplifying their work." The project saved countless lives, not through grand gestures, but through practical, enduring change: clean water, reducing infant mortality, internet access, creating jobs, education, lifting families from poverty. Back in California, Musk kept a small frame on his desk. X's drawing of the solar panel, a gift from Namvula. Beside it was a notebook, its pages echoing Trump's, filled with reflections on service and purpose. One entry read, "Francis's question wasn't about charity, it was about seeing people, really seeing them. Deep Sloot showed me how. The real legacy isn't in what I build, it's in who I help rise." X, growing older, carried the lessons of South Africa with him. His sketchbooks evolved, now filled with designs for solar-powered schools and water systems inspired by the children he'd met. "I want to help like we did in Deep Sloot," he told his father, his voice earnest. Musk, smiling, saw in his son the same spark that had driven him to act. In Pretoria, Namvula stood before a new community center named the Spark Hub, where youth learned coding and engineering. A photo of Musk and X hung on the wall, alongside her words. They came to listen, and they stayed to serve. Across South Africa, the unseen mothers, students, dreamers felt seen, their lives transformed by a man and his son who had answered a question with action. And in the Vatican, the new Pope, hearing of the Spark Project, whispered a prayer for Francis, whose legacy of service had ignited a light that burned bright in the heart of